Committing to follow through is like pulling an internal switch. After the switch is thrown, we do whatever it takes to make our decision real. Achieving commitment to follow through means we are ready to overcome obstacles and achieve our goals. If we're only half-hearted about our commitment, our follow-through and our results are likely to match. Have you ever made a decision or had an intention, but when the time came, you didn't go through with it? Everyone has, even if we hate to admit it. But what can we do about it? We can address the two biggest challenges, inertia and fear, that prevent commitment and follow-through. Inertia is just doing what we always do, not really making a change and not recognizing that change takes effort. Fear of failure, of what others might say, or of the unknown also gets in the way of moving forward, even when we know in our mind what we want to do. That's why achieving decision quality creates momentum for follow-through. When you frame your decision well, create solid alternatives, are clear on your values and the trade-offs, gather the necessary information, including understanding key uncertainties, and use sound reasoning to identify the alternative that gives you the most of what you want given what you can know, you have the clarity you need to move forward with purpose. When your decision makes sense in your head and feels right in your heart, when you can explain the decision to someone you care about so they can understand and check your reasoning, even if they might not agree, then you're positioned to overcome the obstacles that get in the way of follow-through. Where do we typically fall down in turning our decisions into actions? When we have no plan of concrete action, starting today. When we have no near-term objectives by which to measure our progress, and when we are committed to long-term objectives, but not to the effort required. Fortunately, there are tools to help. A first tool is developing SMART goals. Making your goals specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-sensitive. When we have goals that are SMART, we can know if we achieve them in the time frame that we set. Here's the story of our friend Carlos, who was convinced that focusing on improving his English would help him in all his classes. While he's had the intention to improve his English for some time, now he has decided to do something about it. One challenge Carlos faces is that many of his friends and family don't speak English. It's difficult for Carlos to follow through, because they prefer to speak with him in Spanish. He's going to have to overcome this inertia. The SMART goal Carlos created to motivate himself is to get an A this semester in English. He also identified a more day-to-day set of goals, such as to show up to every class prepared and have every assignment turned in on time. To do this, Carlos uses planning tool number 2. He commands his calendar. Carlos identifies a specific time and place to work on his English each day. For example, to achieve his intermediate goal of learning 70 new words each week, he sets aside time on the bus to go through his flashcards. He commits to take a later bus and use the time after school to create the cards from a list of new words he will collect in a special notebook throughout the day. A third step Carlos takes is communicating his decision and his goals to his family and friends. Not only does he tell them, he asks them for their support. For example, by speaking more English together. He posts his goals on the refrigerator with a checklist to measure his progress and to include others in the process. To motivate himself, Carlos brainstorms some small rewards he can give himself for following through, like playing his favorite video game with his friends after he finishes his work. He also allows for some flexibility. He knows he might be tempted to give up if he misses a day, so he creates a small time penalty and extra work for himself if he puts things off. Finally, Carlos shifts the frame with a creative alternative. He includes a friend by agreeing to a contest to motivate both of them to do better. Now, English may not be the skill that you need to focus on, but everyone has something they want or need and can make a quality decision to go after it. If you take the time to be clear about what you're going to do and why you're going to do it, you'll be set up to overcome the obstacles when they appear, and able to pick yourself back up in the cases where you become tripped up. But where is the rattlesnake, you might ask? 3 rattlesnakes were sunning themselves on a warm rock. 2 decided to leave. How many rattlers were left? All 3. Yeah, they didn't commit to follow through.